Hi, Feast community. It's Megan. I am happy to share with you a recipe for an eggplant spread. So, you know, eggplant is usually really pretty, but I recently picked up some that were a little old. And so instead of throwing it out, like, what would you do with it, right? We want to eat it. We want to waste as little food as possible. So what I'm going to do is roast these, turn it into like a baba ganoush of sorts. Baba ganoush is basically just a Middle Eastern eggplant spread. So you can use it with chips and dips. You can put it on sandwiches. You can do all kinds of things with it. So I have my semi-old, not so cute eggplant. I've got some herbs. I've got thyme, parsley, and then my friend brought me some marjoram from her garden. So this is just marjoram, and she dried it out, and I've been using it ever since. I have cumin powder. I have cayenne for a little bit of spice, a little kick. We've got paprika, onion powder. This is optional. If you don't want it, that's totally fine. I mean, all of them are optional. Olive oil, salt and pepper. I've got a tray with aluminum foil. You can cook directly on the metal tray if you want to, but I like to do with tin foil because then you don't have to clean up so much. So grab your knife, and it's crazy easy. Slice it in half. The inside looks beautiful, right? So there are no rotten parts. It's just the outside that's a little bit compromised. So throw that on your tray. Just slice them down the center. It's okay if they're a little bit different sizes, but you want them to be pretty much the same size. So if you had a really big eggplant and some smaller ones, you might want to cut the bigger one up into pieces that are similar to what you have on your tray. Okay, easy enough. Then drizzle olive oil. Eggplants are pretty absorbent. They're sort of like sponges. So you can put a pretty decent amount of olive oil on there. Just want to make sure everything is coated. And then as far as you can use oregano too. Marjoram and oregano are pretty similar to each other. Oregano's a little bit stronger. Marjoram's a little bit of a softer sort of flavor. Especially since this is dried, I'm gonna crush it up. It smells so good. It's nice and floral, kind of citrusy. We will throw our thyme in here. So you could use just the whole sprig of thyme, but what I like to do, especially for something like this, is just pull the leaves off. So if you take the stem by the end and then just go up, then most of the leaves will come off in your hand. So we've got that. Do some pepper. Salt and pepper are pretty much standard in every recipe that I make that is savory. I don't think I would put salt and pepper necessarily in a dessert, but crazier things have happened. Okay, so salt, pepper, and I salt generously. It makes a big difference in the way that things taste. But if you're watching your sodium, all of these other spices will help to increase the taste level. So you might want to just, substitute a little bit more. And right now with the cumin, I'm just sprinkling it on. You can smell it. It smells really Middle Eastern to me, Mediterranean. I love it. Cayenne to taste. Same sort of thing here. I'm just going to sprinkle lightly. And the higher up you sprinkle, the less clumps of spice you get. So you'll see, ooh, and you'll also maybe get some cayenne in your throat. Excuse me. So you'll see I'm not like sprinkling down here, because if you do, then you'll just get like one or two spots, right? Versus coming up higher with your salt and your spices, which helps to spread things out as it falls through the air. Okay. So these are lightly covered. You can see there's a little bit of red. We're going to mix them up anyway, so don't fear if some of them have a little bit more on them than others. Same with the onion powder, just a little dusting. It looks kind of like powdered sugar, but it's not. Okay. Then the fun part, just mush them around. You want to make sure that every single piece has an even coating of oil. And I keep saying that your hands are the best tools in the kitchen. You have so many nerve endings. They are meant for things like this. So you can sort of rub pieces together. And then you want to put them cut side down. So it's a nice little line of eggplant. I have roasted garlic for later. We're going to do that after. If you didn't have roasted garlic, you could throw a head of garlic like this, slice the head in half, and just put it upside down, same as the eggplant. You'll just have to watch it because the garlic will cook faster than the eggplants will. I wash my hands. And then I already have my oven preheated to 375. So I'm going to put this on the bottom shelf or the bottom rack. So we have more of an opportunity to get some color on the eggplant. And when we come back, well, we'll clean our station. And then we will combine the roasted eggplant with the roasted garlic. And you're going to have a really nice eggplant spread. See you soon. Welcome back, Feast community. Eggplant is almost ready for the eggplant spread. It's actually been in for about 45 minutes. So you can either do a higher heat, like a 400, 425 for 30 minutes, or you can do 375 is really good for about 45 to 50 minutes. The key, and I'll show you when it comes out, is that you want it to be nice and brown on the bottom, and everything should be really squishy because you're going to end up, mixing it up. I have cleared the table of anything that we don't need, and I've added a couple of things that are optional. So lemon juice just gives a nice brightness. So I've got a lemon. We have parsley. I've added tahini. Tahini is a sesame paste. It's a sesame puree, and it's similar to peanut butter a little bit. Really good tahini like this one kind of separates out. So when you open it up, there will be a little bit of oil at the top. You just have to sort of work your way in and get it all nice and smooth. So we're only going to use a little bit. This goes a long way. You can also use some peanut butter and a little bit of sesame oil if you have it, or you can just omit it entirely. I have my olive oil and my salt and my pepper. And then I have the roasted garlic. I think we're going to use about a half. So I just cut a head of garlic in half, roasted it in tin foil with salt, pepper, and rosemary, a little bit of chili flake. And there you have it. So I'm going to grab the eggplant out of the oven. And I've put a towel down. Oh yeah, these are done. I put a towel down so I'm not messing up my my tablecloth. And then we'll take a look. Yeah, so you see this is, woo, these are warm. This is a nice golden brown and everything is sizzling. So I'm going to flip them over. I have a spoon and a fork. We'll flip them over just so they cool off a little bit. Oh, these look gorgeous. Some of them have a little bit of a split, which is a good sign that it's cooked all the way through, especially if the eggplant is a little older. You don't have to worry about overcooking it as long as your temperature isn't like sky high. Eggplant can withstand a pretty decent amount of length of time and heat. So we'll start with the garlic because that is the fun part. I have a bowl here. Essentially, you just take your garlic head and you squeeze, and all the roasted cloves come out. Well, all except for two. There we go. Throw that away. Take your fork and smash it. If you need to turn the bowl sideways, that works as well. And you just wanted to get it into like a little bit of a chopped up paste. Once you add the eggplant and the tahini, we're going to mix it again. Okay. So it's all just in the bottom of the bowl waiting for its friends. We'll do that. Move that off to the side. Fork goes back in. In order to get the most juice out of your lemon, roll it. You know, the juice is held inside the actual fibers of the lemon. So when you roll it, you break the fibers apart. Grilling lemons also helps to bring some of the all of the juice out. So I cut mine lengthwise instead of crosswise because then you can squeeze it like that. Gonna give a little initial squeeze just to give some liquid, and we can always add more once we taste it. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. For your eggplant, take your fork, hold on to one end, and just scrape it down. You can actually use the side of your fork, a spoon. Wow, this is great looking. A spoon, wow, you don't really have to do much. It just fell right into it. What you don't want is the skin. So whatever you need to do to take the inside out, I'm just going to throw the skin in the trash. So we'll do this with all of them. Wow. This roasted really nicely. Little eggplant scraping music next time. Go on down the line, and whatever herbs come with you, that's great. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It is warm, so if you need to wait a little bit before you take it right out, the more you handle warm things, the more your nerves get used to it. So have pretty resilient fingers at this point. Into the bowl. Okay, so all of the eggplant is in here, and you can see it's nice and steamy. Clean off my station. So we have right now garlic, eggplant, lemon juice. And just mix it up. You're going to do a little bit more mixing if you decide to add the tahini. If you don't want to, this is just a great opportunity here just to go for it. I'm going to add a little bit more herbs, and we'll taste it to see if it needs spice, rather salt and pepper. Okay, so parsley. Parsley just is a great way to get extra flavor. So if you're not using tahini, if you're not using a ton of salt, herbs are a great way to infuse lots of flavor and brightness. It adds a little bit of a vibrant quality. Okay. And then the best way to chop herbs is to squish it all into a tiny little ball. Take your knife, anchor the tip of your knife on the mat or on the table on your cutting board. Go through, and then you can put the top of your hand, rather your non-dominant hand, on the top of the knife. Use the front as a lever, and then pick the knife up and down, just go through it. I want some like relatively small pieces here because it's a dip, so I don't want like big chunks of parsley, but I do want that nice bright freshness. So I'm going to chop it pretty finely. Throw that in there. Okay, wipe off the station, keep everything clean. Tinfoil just goes straight into the trash. And my pan is clean. No cleanup necessary because there's a lot of cleaning in our lives. So mix this up. And then I'm going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of tahini. This really depends on if you like tahini, if you like sesame. If you want more, put more in. Yeah, that's about 2 tablespoons. Blend it. And you want to make sure that all the fibers are broken up, that everybody is living happily together. So here's what it looks like. I'm going to add a little, let me taste it first. Let me see before I get too ambitious. Let's see. Needs salt. Yum. I don't think it needs more tahini. I feel that nice sesame flavor. I am going to add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit more. So that was about a tablespoon of olive oil. And then a little bit more lemon juice. If you're doing the lemon, if you're squeezing it over, usually you put your hand here just to catch the seeds so you don't have to fish them out later. But this one doesn't have seeds. So we are free to squeeze. Oh, my puppy is barking at somebody. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, so this is our eggplant spread. You can serve this on a sandwich. You can use pita chips is pretty much the most traditional way. If you're making it like baba ganoush, which is the eggplant spread, the traditional way. There are a billion things that you can do with this, but it's a great snack. Eggplant is nice and soothing. Enjoy.